we are. Game week 4. James, we're on a roll. 4 in a row. 4 in a row. Train keeps rolling. Right, guys, quick recap from this past week, which I'll be honest, I went into the last part of the weekend super confident because at one point I had 4 correct. James only had 2. So he really needed to pull something out over the last 2 game weeks, but James called both games right. He got the Man City draw right and he got the Man United win right. So James, arguably the 2 harder picks of the week, you managed to get correct. We both, though, ended 4 and 6 across the weekend, which again, I think is pretty poor. I feel like we have to try and up ourselves to at least 5, 6s. Like I say, I think 7s are going to be good weeks, but guys, Premier League's hard to call, right? Really hard to call. So overall, right now, I'm 13 and 17. James is 12 and 8. Without any further ado, let's get into it, and I will kick us off here. I'm more than happy to. Southampton at home for the 12:30 kickoff against Manchester United. James have got Man United 2-1. I think that there's going to be a lot of confidence from that Liverpool game that's going to hopefully just kind of spur them on a little bit. Maybe we see somebody like Casemiro play. I'm sure there's going to be some other signings over the course of this week as well, as Manchester United desperately try and get some bodies into that squad. And again, Southampton, as much as they did win, obviously, against Leicester, I just think that there'll be a little bit of kind of a class difference between the two teams in terms of total quality. So 2-1 Man United for me. What about you in that one?
Interesting for me. Not really interesting. I have a 3-1 Manchester United win. I think the momentum from that game, finally breaking the mold. Casemiro gonna have his first start for Manchester United. A lot of the good stuff gonna happen. I see Manchester United winning the game 3-1.
Right, James, moving on to the next one. Chelsea, 3 o'clock Saturday versus Leicester at Stamford Bridge. Who have you got in that one?
Okay, this is 2 teams who've had a weird start to the season. You know, a lot of few ups, a lot of downs for both teams. But I'm going to say, Jack, it's going to be a 1-0 win for Chelsea over Leicester.
Okay. Look, I like it. I'm not gonna lie. Mine's 2-0. So again, I don't think it's going to be too different. Yeah, again, I think this will be a pretty cheesed off Chelsea team from that performance against Leeds midweek. So look, I tend to agree with you on that. And yeah, James, Leicester, it's a tricky one. It's very interesting timing with regards to the Wesley Fofana negotiations as well, which I think is an interesting one. Moving on to the next game I have here, Brighton are at home against Leeds. James, this is like an impossible game for me to call, I think, right now. This is a really weird one because Leeds are a bit of a wild card. Brighton seem to be well drilled and doing their thing as well. I'm going to say, though, that this Brighton team, I think, are going to just keep on rolling. I think every single game week, I think, is just going to continue. So I'm going to say 2-1 Brighton. I think Leeds will be able to snag a goal in there. But yeah, look, I think this Graham Potter team, you know, they're starting to believe what they're hearing every week from Mr. Potter. What do you have on that one?
I'm going to say, I think Leeds' momentum from last week is huge, Jack. You know, them, like, the belief on being able to beat Chelsea is massive. I see Leeds going in and winning 2-1, Jack. Let's go 2-1 Leeds.
2-1 to Leeds. Okay, the reverse on that one. I like it. James, going into the next 3 o'clock game here, Man City at home against Crystal Palace. This is a nice game. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm a little disappointed it's one of the 3 o'clock ones.
Yeah, to be fair, I feel like this could easily be a Sunday game, if I'm being honest. But Jack, Crystal Palace in the last 2 games against Manchester City have not lost. You know, they went to Etihad last season, won, and they got a draw at their place. Yes, at the Etihad Stadium, but Crystal Palace are one of them teams that Man City don't like playing against. Remember a few years ago when they won 3-2. Again, I'm going to see how Crystal Palace is going to set up. Wolf with Zaha up front, Eze trying to beat Manchester City 1v1 like Newcastle were able to do. Jack, I'm going to say 2-1 Crystal Palace.
James, I respect it. I really respect it. And look, can I just say, everybody, look, you may doubt James on some of these, like, quote-unquote crazy predictions, but I'm pretty sure for all the ones that we'd consider crazy, James is like 100% right now. So maybe James needs to start throwing a bit of money at these fixtures.
You know what, Jack? I've thrown enough money. I've lost a lot too.
Yeah, guys.
Goodness gracious me.
Be careful when you're gambling out there. Be careful. This is not financial advice.
Don't take what I'm saying for gospel.
I'm going 2-2 though. I'm going a little more tame. I think we'll see, to a certain extent, a little bit of a repeat of what we saw over the weekend. Yeah, look, Palace are a game changer. I think Patrick Vieira is in with a shout so far as, like, you know, the coach of the year. I know we've only had 3 game weeks, but, you know, he's definitely got some sort of skin in the game to say that. So yeah, for me, kind of a stuttering Manchester City team, and maybe the questions will start of like, oh, Liverpool didn't start well, but maybe the cracks are starting to appear for Manchester City as well. Liverpool at home against Bournemouth is our next game. James, I think Liverpool need to make somewhat of a statement here, and I think Bournemouth are going to be in real trouble here. So I'm going to go 3-0 to Liverpool in that Liverpool-Bournemouth game. What have you got?
I have just like you, we think alike, Jack. 3-0 Liverpool. I feel like at some point that has to give, in like this game for them is huge. Could you imagine Liverpool fail to lose 4 games in a row in the Premier League? That hasn't happened in God knows how long. You know, probably the I don't know, the Brendan Rodgers days when it got really bad. But yeah.
Yeah, no, look, I hear you on that one. Look, and I'm glad we agree on that. I think also Darwin Nunez, he's still banned, I think, but again, somebody like Firmino will come in. Any of those guys, I'm sure they'll contribute with a goal. Moving on to a slightly trickier one, I'd like to say. Again, there's still a 3 o'clock Saturday game. Brentford are at home against Everton. James, what have you got in that one?
This one, Jack, is a tough one for me. Everton can't afford to go 4 games without a win, Jack.
Nope.
They really, really can't afford. But Jack, I struggle to see them going to Brentford and winning. I really do, and to me, it's a tough one. Brentford are always going to be a tough outfit for teams. And to be fair, the last 2 games against Everton, they won 3-2 and 1-0. I'm going to go for another Brentford win. I'm going to go 2-1 Brentford, Jack.
James, I'm going for the same thing. I'm sorry to kind of steal your thunder there a little bit, but yeah, again, like, guys, this Thomas Frank Brentford team, this is kind of here to stay. I'm really a big believer in what they do. I think the squad is totally in with what they're doing as well, and as long as they can keep hold of some of their more talented players like an Ivan Toney, Norgard, those kinds of guys, then I think that they, you know, they're still going to be a problem, and they're still going to cause teams issues. And Everton, again, you know, poor old Frank Lampard, but you know, it's not looking particularly brilliant there for him either. Moving on to the evening, the Saturday night game, we'll call it. Arsenal are at home against Fulham. Now, if this was at Craven Cottage, I think I'd take a draw in this one, but I'm going to say just because of that home advantage, and Arsenal are rolling, I think the Gabriel Jesus train is not going to stop. So again, I think 3-1 for me here to the Arsenal. James, you'll I'm sure be glad to hear. What have you got in that one?
I was going to say 3-1, but let me change it up. Let me go 2-0 Arsenal. Jack, Arsenal go 4 for 4. My days, you know, that would be amazing.
That league title's got red and white on it.
Goodness gracious me, Jack. Could you imagine Invincibles, in fact? Woo!
So what are you sticking with on that one? 3-1?
2-0. No, let's go 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, don't blame me on that
as
one.
As long as Arsenal win, that's all that matters.
So moving on to the first of the 2 o'clock Sunday games, James, you have Wolverhampton Wanderers against Newcastle United. What have you got in that one?
So I'm going to say, this is a tough one because I'm not sure where the goals come from for Wolves at this moment of time. Like, will you come back to me with this one, Jack?
I will. I'm happy to go on this one. I got Newcastle 2-0. Look, I think you just made the point for me there already. Where are the goals coming from for this Wolves team? I've mentioned it before. You know, this is, I mean, I think he scored tonight in a was it Carabao Cup second round or whatever?
Yeah,
but yeah, so but I think Jimenez also, I think, didn't Jimenez score tonight as well, potentially? But look, I think that this is not the Raul Jimenez that we know and love. That was kind of you know, making Wolves the team they are right now. Well, I've mentioned this in a previous video. The Fabio Silva experiment didn't quite work out either. I believe they're in talks to sign João Pedro, is it, from Watford?
So again, the whole Portuguese team's crazy.
Basically, mate. But yeah, no, Newcastle are rolling. Like I say, the optimism there, the funding, and the positive feeling towards Newcastle United. I've just got them the away win 2-0.
Jack, in the 14 games played between Wolves and Newcastle, there have been 9 draws. So a lot of draws in there. Wolves, defensively, I feel like are decent. The question is how many goals are they going to score? I'm going to call this, especially based on the history too. I'm going to say 1-1.
1-1. Okay, I like it. I respect it. Right, James, because I went for that last one, I am going to make you go again here. Villa versus West Ham United. This is the second of the Sunday games.
This is like, I want to say a must-win, but a must-win for both teams. I don't think either team would be happy taking a loss in this situation. Could you imagine West Ham failing to win their first 4 games? Crazy, especially picking up 4 straight losses. Villa, they need a win. Gerrard is crying out for a win somehow, some way. Oh, Jack, this is again. I'm gonna call another draw here. Let's go for another 1-0 draw.
I've got a 1-1 draw as well. Sorry, but yeah, look, I have it as well. I tend to agree with you. Like I said, I'm going to start judging West Ham when Gianluca Scamacca starts playing properly in and week out. I think once he starts getting fed, we'll see a slightly different West Ham team. But right now, yeah, this is problematic. And with Villa again, I think West Ham will defend well enough to stop the threats that Villa have. But realistically, yeah, again, for both teams, this is not looking pretty so far this year. James, Forest versus Spurs. This is at Nottingham Forest, which is kind of an interesting one just to finish off our week here.
Jack, this is very interesting. Interestingly enough, Jack, in their head-to-head, Nottingham Forest are actually winning 6-3, which is quite interesting. But last time they played was 1999. So
different prospect back then.
That's a long time ago. Nottingham Forest has spent a lot of money this year, but I mentioned with this Tottenham team, especially with the confidence that they've gotten from the Chelsea victory and also the Wolves game where they haven't played well, they've gotten victory. Jack, I see this being a fun game. I see this being a really, really fun game. Goals going in on both ends. I'm going to say 4-2 Tottenham.
4-2. Wow. Okay, that is crazy different from what I've got. I got 1-0 Spurs. I think we're going to see another repeat of basically the game that we saw last week. I think we're going to see another strong defensive performance where, again, just one of these ultra-talented attacking players just does something a little bit special to snag the goal. And then I think Conte is going to resort to his old mate Jose Mourinho kind of tactics of keeping these 1-0 wins, these clean sheets going. Guys, some disagreements again from me and James. That's what you love to see. I'm still only leading by 1 solitary point. I'd be amazed if we get to game week 38 and it's still this 1 point gap. Like I say, guys, anything can change over a matter of games. I was up on James 4-2, but then I got the last 2 games of the game week wrong. James got them both correct. So anything can happen at any time. Drop your predictions down below. Like I say, I don't want to hear anything about mine or James's predictions if we don't see yours down there. While you're down there, drop a like on the video, hit the subscribe button as well. Sometimes the algorithm can obviously give you our videos even though you're not subscribed. So do make an effort to do that as well. James, anything else from you, mate?
Guys, with the road to 1,000, hit that subscribe button, comment, let us know your feelings on this, hit that like button, and we will see you in the next video.